Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty serious show for you guys, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, today I want to talk a little bit about sports media and the direction it's going in, right? And really what it's all about at this point. What am I referring to? Today, I was listening to some segments on ESPN First Take. And on today's show, they had a panel of Brian Windhorst, Stephen A. Smith, JJ Redick. And they were predominantly reacting to the Lakers game versus the Nuggets and all of the storylines surrounding that game. And during their discourse, you could see that it was beginning to get a little bit contentious. And this isn't something new, because JJ Redick and Stephen A. Smith have had some moments on television, some pretty heated moments, where you could see that JJ Redick genuinely got upset with Stephen A. Smith and the entire panel and Chris Mad Dog Russo, whatever. So today, as they were discussing the series and kind of trying to figure out who's the culprit on the Lakers side for why the Lakers lost, you could see JJ Redick beginning to get upset or frustrated with Stephen A. Smith. And you could see Stephen A. Smith beginning to get a little bit annoyed at JJ Redick. And they had two exchanges here that we want to play. We're going to couple them that I want you guys to listen to. I want you guys to listen to the first part where Stephen A. Smith is basically getting annoyed with JJ Redick's reluctance to take a firm position, and JJ Redick getting annoyed with Stephen A. Smith because he feels maybe he's trying to sensationalize the story and pretty much produce a hot take. So what we want to do is we want to play this exchange for you guys quickly here. It's a bit lengthy, but I want you guys to listen to it in its entirety.
Well, thank you, dear Abby, a.k.a. Brian Windhorst. I deeply appreciate your soliloquy right there. You clearly the influence of J.J. Redick and yourself has touched you in profound ways. Y'all kill me with this stuff. Y'all absolutely kill me. No one is saying, for the record, because I know, J.J., because you talk a lot, J.J., because you're the media star now, okay? Both of you, actually.
I talk a lot.
That's right. I mean, I'm relatively quiet. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is this. The point that I'm trying to make the point that I'm trying to make to y'all is this. Look, no one is saying the Lakers season was a failure. It was not. They went to the Western Conference Finals, and to be hovering around the 13th seed for most of the season, to get to the point where they finished the way that they finished, and they went to the conference finals, we know that the season was not a failure. Props to Jeannie Buss. Rob Pelinka, to me, is the MVP of the team because of the moves that he made to help get them to this point because of the acquisitions. We understand that. But the game was last night. The series is over. We're dissecting what happened. There was a winner and there was a loser. Stop with all of this. Don't get caught up in the trolls and all of this other stuff. Oh, we want to make sure we don't react to what they say because people out there saying the season's a failure. Damn them. The hell with them. They're trolls for a reason. I'm simply saying, when you look at the Los Angeles Lakers, you can literally deduce that the season was a success, but you can point to this series and say, excuse me, you got one of the greatest players in the world and one of the greatest players in the history of the game. You got a guy in Anthony Davis as a supplementary part, a sidekick per se, who, when healthy and playing at his level, is a top 10 player in the game of basketball. If you're going to legitimately compete for a championship, you have to dissect what you have and you don't have. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a crime. Let's not treat it that way.
There's so much to unpack.
Oh,
I'm so glad. I'm so glad
like
this
to
show
move
is 2
on?
hours. No, we can move on, but I'm so glad this show is 2
Unbelievable.
hours.
You really are, JJ. You're unbelievable.
You are
man.
unbelievable.
You're unbelievable. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Say what you got to say, man.
No.
I'm gonna go ahead.
No, because
I'm here for it.
I want to save it. I want to save it for another question that we have later in the show. Because you're just being ridiculous
Guess
right
what?
now, Stephen A. That's the truth. You're
Guess
being
what?
ridiculous.
You got an hour
You didn't listen to anything I
45.
said. You didn't listen to anything I said. You didn't listen to anything Wendy said. All you want to do is talk about the Lakers, and that's fine. And we'll get to this later in the show. Believe
I
me,
didn't
and it's
mention
going to be
anything
fun.
about Denver.
It's going to be
So I
fun.
mentioned nothing about Denver. I said
It's gonna be
nothing about
fun.
Jokic and
Stephen
Murray
A.
and Gordon and Kentavious Caldwell. I said nothing
Okay.
about them. That's it. You're not listening to me, JJ.
Okay, no
Shame
one's
on you.
listening to me.
Shame on
Nobody's
you.
listening to me as the host of the show.
As an athlete, like, there's always a moment when you sort of begin to question your own athletic mortality. And maybe in some ways, LeBron, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but maybe in some ways, LeBron is at that stage. Am I buying that he's going to retire? No, absolutely not. The thing I'll say about LeBron is one of the most calculated professional athletes in the history of professional sports. Everything he does is for a reason. And whether this is to put a little bit of pressure on the Lakers to improve the roster, whether this is to send a subtweet to his teammates, whatever it is, there's a reason he did this. But I believe there's some earnesty in these comments, and it's not just for a calculated reason. He's coming off year 20, age 38, a long playoff run where he's had to play a ton of minutes with an injury, and it's just human nature that you would begin to say, oh, maybe I'm nearing the end.
Go ahead, Wendy. I mean, I listened to every word JJ just said. I don't understand much of what he just said, but I listened. But go ahead, Wendy.
Well, you didn't play,
you first,
Stephen A.
and then I'll try. Exactly.
You didn't play.
I didn't comprehend. I'm sorry.
You don't understand athletic mortality. 3 games at wherever South Dakota, Winston-Salem State doesn't count.
Yes, I got you. I understand. I got a degree, and I'm here on TV with you. I must be doing something right.
Oh, you're definitely doing things right.
You damn right. Go ahead,
Okay,
Wendy.
guys, let's go.
So you heard the exchange between the two of them, these two gentlemen. Here are my thoughts. I don't really understand what sports media is turning into these days. I don't understand. It's like turning into some WWE type of stuff here. It's like, who can insult each other the best? Who can have the most contentious moment on television in order to create entertainment? And I believe this is one of the reasons why the way in which people consume content is changing. I believe people are getting tired of this smear-a-thon on TV where one guy is shouting at the other guy and the other guy is trying to insult the other guy. I mean, where's the line in all of this? And I'm not saying this because I'm sticking up for Stephen A. Smith. I'm not, because Stephen A. Smith is notorious, was notorious for doing this to Max Kellerman, constantly insulting the guy on television. So it's not like as if Stephen A. Smith is some type of angel here or some victim. He was known for doing that, insulting Max Kellerman, calling him a flagrant, talking about your flagrant idiocy on TV and all of that. That's what he was saying to his counterpart. Then we had to blow up between Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless, where a lot of people are like, but what is really going on here with sports media? When are we getting into all of this mudslinging? You know, and some may say, well, it was just television. Trust me. If J.J. Redick was as good as an actor as some of you believe, he would be on a Hollywood set making $25 million a picture. He's not that good. J.J. was genuinely annoyed with Stephen A. Smith. And when you heard Stephen A. Smith bring up his credentials, I went to so-and-so school, I did so-and-so thing, so apparently I must have done something right, he felt insulted. But then again, maybe Stephen A. Smith, you know what? Maybe this is the environment you decide to put yourself in. Hey, you know, we're going to make a lot of money doing this. So if it means I'm going to get insulted on television, so be it. We can just call it entertainment. Meanwhile, we're making tens of millions of dollars. Really? Is that what it's all about? Is this what sports media is turning into? The WWE? What are we doing here these days? What are we doing here? I think people are misunderstanding the debate format. You're supposed to debate topics, not each other. You're not supposed to cross into personal. It's never supposed to be personal. You're always supposed to be inbound. Now you can be passionate. You know, you can be demonstrative, but as long as it's centered on the topics. For him to say, well, I played the game, you never played the game, you're trying to insult the guy. And then Stephen A. Smith is saying, well, you know, I must have made it up here, basically saying you're trying to question my credentials. So I don't really know what the hell is going on with sports media these days. I really don't know. And I think it's things like this is allowing independent creators to start gaining inroads. Oh, yes. The debate format is not the only way to create content. You don't need to get into no mudslinging in order to create engaging, intelligent content that causes people to think. And maybe some people can be entertained without all of that nonsense involved. Have we ever gave that a thought? Whatever happened to just being civilized and being entertaining on television? When did sports media degenerate into this? Now, some people will say, well, it's always been like this. Well, I guess so. But that was an extremely awkward exchange. And you even heard the moderator, Molly Kerm, basically where she said, okay, guys, enough is enough. Like, this is getting embarrassing and it's getting awkward. You're making all of us uncomfortable up here. And you're telling me you're doing all of that for the almighty dollar of, well, oh, this is entertainment. I thought that was a very, very, it just, that segment didn't sit well with me. Now, maybe some people like it, but it wasn't something that really resonated with me, man. What are we doing here? I would never get in a debate or debate someone about NBA topics and we start getting into well, I played in the NBA, well, so who are you? And I'm not doing all of that, man. What are we, clowns? I'm not doing all of that. Like, what are we doing up here? I'm not going to get into that type of mudslinging and I'm shouting over you, you shouting over me. Y'all can have that. I'm not with none of that. I'm not with none of that. If we're going to act like as if we're on the street, then let's go act like that on the street. Not in corporate America. Not when we're trying to be professionals out here. You know, and you can see, like, I mean, it's weird. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one reading into it. I'm sure a good amount of people will say, oh, it's just entertainment until somebody does it to you. Until somebody questions your credentials, then all of a sudden you will, oh, no, I didn't mean it about you. Why are you taking it personal? I was just talking about your credentials, not you personally. What was the need for all of that? But then again, hey, I guess this is what works. But to me, it was just something that I decided that I wanted to touch on. And I don't understand why it has to be so disgusting. But hey, maybe that's just me. So what I want to know from you guys is simply this. Number one, what do you think about that exchange between JJ Redick and Stephen A. Smith? Do you think it's all entertainment, or do you think sometimes it's crossing the boundaries? We're crossing over to just flat out disrespect, where we're crossing boundaries, or hey, maybe it's just me. But whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we'll definitely catch you guys on the next show. Peace.